Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee have been working on Hush 2, and Jeph Loeb is promising to tackle that pesky Robin problem. Do you think there's a Robin problem? Because I know you love Stephanie Brown. You love Stephanie Brown.
I do. That being said, there is absolutely 110% a Robin problem. The problem is, I don't think anybody realizes the scope of the Robin problem.
But let's talk about what old Jeph Loeb said. He recently appeared on DC's official YouTube channel to discuss Batman Hush, and during the interview, he openly acknowledged what he called Batman's Robin problem. Loeb didn't shy away from describing Batman as a father figure to a long line of teenage sidekicks and teased that he's going to fix it. Naturally, this sparked speculation that one of the Robins might be headed for the chopping block. That theory only gained traction when DC's recent solicitations revealed Batman will once again find himself clashing with his own children. Whether it's Dick, Jason, Tim, Damian, or Duke, the Dark Knight can't seem to stop fighting the very people he's meant to be raising and protecting, leading many fans to question if Gotham's vigilante father figure is about to thin the ranks of his sprawling surrogate family. And most people, for some reason, are just assuming that Jeph Loeb is going to kill off one of the Robins.
You could take this interpreted two ways. Either all of the actual Robins and pseudo Robins, he's going to kill a number of them. Or you could take it as, the Robins are kind of a stand-in for the overall size of the Bat family and needing to thin that in some way, shape, or form, whether through killing them or just making their relationship with Batman so strained or, broken that they no longer are part of the Bat family.
But they just recently did that during Gotham War, where the entire Bat family, other than Damian Wayne, essentially turned their back on Batman and were fighting him to protect Catwoman and all the criminals that she was essentially training up to be better criminals. So it's not exactly a new take on it. I do think, obviously, killing a Robin would be much more controversial and certainly would get more headlines for a story that is kind of boring right now.
I think you would absolutely generate bigger headlines. You would generate bigger hype. You would generate probably greater sales by killing one of them. I do think anything short of killing a Robin or many Robins is just going to end up in the same situation where they're currently in. I think you need to take that off the table.
But it kind of goes against like the big rumor that was definitely going to happen in Hush 2, that they were actually going to use this also to bring Alfred back. And that would be expanding the Batman family again rather than contracting it. And I do think bringing Alfred back would actually probably be bigger headlines than killing off a Robin.
You would be kind of solving one problem while creating a new problem, but that assumes you're only talking about killing one Robin. You could kill, 5 Robins. And even if you bring back Alfred, you've still shrunk the size of the Bat family, which is something that is absolutely imperative to do.
Batman's Robin problem is something fans have been debating for years. Some view his long list of young sidekicks as evidence that he uses them as tools in his war on crime, putting teenagers in the line of fire and exposing them to the trauma and violence of Gotham. Critics argue that teaching children to fight crime in a city this dangerous feels less like fatherhood and more like building a personal army, but others believe Batman is offering these kids purpose and guidance, taking in lost or troubled youth and training them to be heroes. To those fans, the Robins are not pawns. They're family members who chose to stand beside him regardless of interpretation. There's no denying that Batman's legacy as a mentor has become increasingly complicated as more and more Robins have come and gone. And when you do look at the list, it is getting quite ridiculous. You've got Dick Grayson, you got Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, you've got Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, Tim Drake, Duke. You could also consider Barbara Gordon a Robin. Like, it's definitely gotten far too big.
Damian was an unnecessary inclusion. Bringing Jason back from the dead was unnecessary. Barbara Gordon, getting her out of the wheelchair and making her another Bat character again instead of more of a DC Universe character. All of this rapidly expanded the Bat family over a very short number of years. That's after, bringing Cassandra Cain back. I don't think the problem is that Batman's creating his own army, and I really don't think the problem is that Batman is just expanding too much. I think the problem is Batman loses who Batman is as the loner when he's got a group of close friends in his 30s. Most of us adults in our 30s don't have that many close friends. And now the quote unquote loner orphan guy, he's got a bigger entourage than goddamn Diddy did before he ended up in jail. That is, I think, the major problem with Batman and the Bat family. Not necessarily just the Robins, but everybody involved in the Bat family. It's fundamentally broken who Batman is, which is a kind of distant, he doesn't want to get close to too many people. He's afraid that his fucking trauma is going to really affect them. So what does he do? He has like a dozen fucking people hanging out right next to him all the time that he is constantly working with and hanging out with. It's just that it undermines who Batman is and who Batman is supposed to be.
And for a character like Bruce Wayne Batman, like his secret identity would be something he wouldn't want to give up to anybody. And it feels like he is definitely far too open to just bringing people into the circle.
I mean, apparently, at least according to Hush 2, Riddler knows who everybody is. Like, this is really getting goddamn ridiculous. You need to try to put the genie back in the bottle here a little bit.
It's not just how he treats his sidekicks, it's how bloated and inconsistent and morally compromised his entire Bat family is at this time. The once clear lines between hero and villain are blurred beyond recognition. Harley Quinn, who literally handed out explosive Christmas presents to children and murdered innocents, is now a trusted ally. Catwoman, the world's most infamous thief, kept stealing even while she was engaged to Bruce Wayne. Jason Todd, the former Robin Batman watched die, is now Red Hood, a vigilante who's taken more lives than the criminals Batman claims to abhor. And yet somehow these characters are all welcomed into the fold. For a man supposedly obsessed with justice, Batman's tolerance of violent criminals in his inner circle undercuts the entire ethos. The Bat family has ballooned into a network of anti-heroes, killers, and thieves, and Batman's inability to draw the line is becoming its own Bat crisis.
You can address it through a number of things, including basically a Doc Samson-like issue where he's in fucking therapy, realizing that all the reason that he's brought all these completely morally reprehensible people around him and just kind of gives it a pass is because he's an orphan searching for a family so badly that apparently he just decided to accept anybody that'll get close to him. And that's a problem unto itself. Now, you could solve that, but again, the only way to solve it is through putting a lot of them on ice.
Boy, you got to treat Harley Quinn like the villain that she is. She is a serial killer. She's not your quirky buddy.
Nope, she is absolutely not. You can't be getting engaged to the cat burglar lady that you're constantly putting in jail. You can't be letting everybody know who you are. You can't just ignore moral failings, their complete and utter lack of a moral compass, just because they're nice to you and you're the sad orphan boy. It's undermining, again, who Batman is. There's a number of ways that over the last decade or so, they fundamentally undermined who Batman and Bruce Wayne are. And really the only way to write yourself out of this, putting Bruce back on a path where he's only allowing people around him that don't have those same massive amounts of moral failings.
Who do you think should be the Robin? It can't be Dick Grayson because he's Nightwing. He's a hero unto himself now.
It needs to be Tim. Tim Drake is the non-damaged Bruce Wayne, but he has the same level of skill and dedication that Bruce needs. He's the one that is the most perfect worthy successor. Damian is just a little shit that has no business being part of the Bat family. Honestly, I mean, that's assuming we agree that he has any business being alive. I don't think the character should exist. That being said, if he's going to, he needs to be more of the heir apparent to fucking Ra's al Ghul than to Batman. Take Damian out of the equation, and the Robin that's there should be Tim.
So you just get rid of Duke, you get rid of Batwing, you get rid of Spoiler, you get rid of Batgirl.
Yes.
Just get rid of all of them, kill them all off.
Yeah, I'm even fine with killing Jason and Damian. All of them can go. I would literally bring it down to Tim, Bruce, and Dick. That's the Bat family. You can add in Alfred. He can have his back and forths with Catwoman. You have a Nightwing that's not in Gotham, that's over in fucking Bloodhaven or some other city. And you have a Robin in the person of Tim that is his kind of heir in training. Kill Barbara too. I don't really care.
So if they clean up the Bat family, which I'm not completely opposed to, I wouldn't do all the stuff that you said, but it is an enormous mess. They can't stop there. They need to clean up the Superman family, the Flash family, probably the Spider-Man family. Got to clean up all the Captain Americas now. Or is it Captain's America?
Captain's America, damn it.
Okay, they got to clean up the Captain's America now because they are just, these families are out of control.
100%. The Claw people, the Spider people, the Gamma people, all of them need fundamentally reduced. Once again, it comes back to my same issue that I have with Spider-Man or Wolverine having legacy versions of themselves. It undermines fundamentally the uniqueness that makes them great, just makes them another version of a Spider person or a Claw person. And in this case, in the case of Bruce, just another Bat family member. Yes, he might be the patriarch, but he's just still another guy in a giant menagerie of Bat people.
So what do you think Loeb's going to do? You think he's actually going to kill off one character? You think he's going to kill off a couple? Is he going to annex some people? Maybe turn Jason Todd fully villain?
I would like to believe he's going to go full slaughter mode, but I don't think he will, and I don't think DC will allow him to. More than likely, this will end up as a Dan Slott situation where we need to end the Spider-Verse, and they end the Spider-Verse by doubling its size. And that's unfortunately where I think this will end up. Yes, he's going to solve the Robin by everyone else just not being called Robin. That's going to be his solution. Damian will be the only Robin. They're going to give Tim his own identity again. Hopefully it's not just Drake this time. And all the other ones will just not wear anything Robin related or reference the fact that they were a Robin. And you'll just have Damian. And it'll be daddy and son comics all the fucking time, further making Batman an unreadable mess.
But you do have to admit, Damian has more potential to make money than Tim Drake does anymore. Do you want to see the further adventures of Tim and Bernard living on the fucking docks? Nobody wants to see that.
No, nobody wants to see it. And they can solve it by, oh wait, that was Clayface the whole time. And Clayface is gay now. I'd be fine with that. I think that yes, technically Damian, provided you don't unfuck Tim Drake, is the bigger moneymaker at the moment. But that's only because you fucked up Tim Drake that bad. There's a number of ways you can unfuck that character. At that point, he is absolutely 100% the bigger draw character than Damian any day of the week. If you eliminate the fucking twinkle toes prancing, annoying, flamboyant, Mr. Sinister-esque Robin that they've turned him into, and you bring him back to a Robin anybody actually liked, he's definitely the bigger draw.
If you like this conversation, there is a bigger, longer, more unedited, unfiltered version right now on Think Critical Patreon, the Dok Unfiltered podcast. We've got this, as well as our conversation about Chris Claremont disavowing the Spider-Man marriage. It's live right now, unfiltered, waiting for you to discover. There's a link in the video description to the Patreon. The Dok is right here.